Hey, history divers, brace yourselves as we plunge into the intriguing history of the Roman Empire. Our journey begins in the city of Rome, founded in the year 753 BC by its first king, a man named Romulus. From a small settlement on the fertile banks of the river Tiber, Rome grew, over the course of a few hundred years, into a rich and powerful city. Romulus, the legendary founder, was the first of 7 kings of Rome, each playing a part in shaping the city's early development. However, Rome's true rise to power began with a dramatic shift in its political structure. In 509 BC, the monarchy was overthrown and Rome became a republic. This was a monumental moment, a pivot point that would set the stage for Rome's dominance in the Western world. The Republic was a new form of government where power was shared between elected officials. This political system was revolutionary for its time, providing a model that would influence future civilizations for centuries to come. Under this republic, Rome continued to grow in strength and influence. Its armies expanded the city's territories, and its culture and technology flourished. This period saw the construction of Rome's iconic architecture, the development of its law and order, and the birth of its famed military strategies. Yet the Republic was not without its struggles and conflicts. Power was often concentrated in the hands of a few, leading to social and political tensions. However, it was these very tensions that would eventually pave the way for the next phase of Rome's history, the rise of the Roman Empire. So from humble beginnings as a riverside settlement to a powerful republic, Rome laid the groundwork for an empire that would come to shape the course of history. From humble beginnings, Rome evolved into one of the most influential civilizations in history. The Roman Empire thrived on a unique political structure, a structure that evolved and adapted over time, shaping the course of history and leaving a profound impact on subsequent generations. In its early days, Rome was a monarchy. The city was ruled by kings, with the first of them being Romulus, the legendary founder of Rome. But this period of kings was short-lived. The Romans, tired of the tyranny of the kings, expelled the last monarch, Tarquin the Proud, in 509 BC. This marked the end of the monarchy and the birth of the Roman Republic. The Roman Republic was a radical departure from a hereditary monarchy. It was a system where the citizens of Rome elected officials to govern on their behalf. The Senate, a political institution of elder statesmen, became the heart of the Roman Republic. It was a place where decisions were made, laws were passed, and the fate of the empire was decided. Key roles in this new political structure were the consuls and praetors. The consuls were the executive head of the republic, 2 officials elected annually to jointly rule. They commanded the army, presided over the Senate and the assemblies, and represented Rome in foreign affairs. The praetors, on the other hand, served as judges and administrators, handling the day-to-day affairs of the republic. But the republic was not to last forever. Internal strife and power struggles led to its downfall and the rise of a new form of government, the Roman Empire. This transition marked a shift in power from the Senate to the emperors. The emperors, starting with Augustus in 27 BC, held supreme power, controlling the military, the administration, and the religious institutions. The political system of Rome was a complex mix of democracy and dictatorship. It evolved from a monarchy to a republic and then to an empire, each phase leaving its mark on the empire's development. It was a unique concoction that fueled Rome's growth, allowed it to dominate the Mediterranean for centuries, and etched its place in the annals of history. A robust economy was the lifeblood of the Roman Empire. The economic structure of this vast civilization was intricate and multifaceted, with agriculture serving as its primary foundation. The fertile soil of the Italian peninsula, combined with the empire's favorable Mediterranean climate, allowed for a rich diversity of crops to flourish. The Romans were skilled farmers, understanding the value of crop rotation and the importance of irrigation. Vast fields of wheat, barley, and oats painted the countryside with hues of gold, providing the empire with a sturdy food supply. However, the Roman economy wasn't just about grains and legumes. Olive oil and wine were the shining stars of Roman trade goods. Olive groves and vineyards sprawled across the landscape, their produce destined for consumption both within and beyond the empire's borders. Olive oil and wine were more than just culinary staples. They were symbols of Roman prosperity and cultural identity. Now let's talk about the role of slavery in the Roman economy. Slavery was a grim but undeniable facet of the Roman world. Slaves toiled in the fields, worked in the mines, and served in Roman households. Their labor was a significant driving force behind the empire's economic prosperity. The Roman economy wasn't solely rural, an urban economy also thrived. Rome, the beating heart of the empire, was a bustling metropolis brimming with merchants, artisans, and traders. Markets overflowed with goods from all corners of the empire and beyond, from Egyptian grain to Chinese silk. Trade was another cornerstone of the Roman economy. Roads and sea routes connected the empire, facilitating the movement of goods and people. The Mediterranean Sea, or Mare Nostrum as the Romans called it, was a vital trade artery, its waves carrying Roman goods to distant shores. The economy of the Roman Empire, a complex system of trade and agriculture, was the backbone of its enduring strength. It was a testament to the Romans' ability to harness the resources at their disposal, to adapt and innovate, and to build an economic system that supported one of the most influential civilizations in human history. Women in the Roman Empire held a position that was paradoxically important yet marginal. In the grand tapestry of Roman society, the roles of women were as varied as they were vital. They were the beating hearts of their households, tasked with the upbringing of children and the management of domestic affairs. As wives, they were the trusted companions of their husbands, sharing their joys and sorrows, their triumphs and trials. In the realm of motherhood, they held a monumental responsibility. They were the first teachers, the first counselors, and the first healers of the future citizens of Rome. It was upon their shoulders that the duty of instilling Roman values, traditions, and sense of civic duty fell. They wove the fabric of society one child at a time, but their influence was not confined to the home. Though seldom highlighted in historical texts, women were occasionally business owners, managing vineyards, trading goods, and even running large-scale manufacturing operations. They were active economic agents, contributing to the wealth and prosperity of the empire. Women also wielded influence in the political and social spheres. They were the silent power behind the throne, influencing their husbands, sons, and brothers who held public office. They were the unseen hands that shaped the course of history, their whispers echoing in the halls of power. Yet, despite these essential roles, women in the Roman Empire were often relegated to the margins of society. Their rights were limited, their freedoms curtailed, and their contributions largely unrecognized. They were denied the right to vote or hold public office, and their legal status was often dependent on their fathers or husbands. But the story of women in the Roman Empire is not one of passive victims of a patriarchal system. It is a story of resilience and resourcefulness, of women navigating the confines of their society to assert their presence and influence. It is a story of women who, despite the odds, shaped the world around them. Despite their marginal status, women played a crucial role in the functioning of the Roman Empire. They were the unsung heroines of a civilization that would shape the course of world history. Language and religion were the threads that held the fabric of the Roman Empire together. The language of the Roman Empire was Latin, a language that evolved from its roots in the Italian peninsula to become the lingua franca of an empire that spanned 3 continents. Latin was not just the language of the educated elite, it was the language of trade, law, and administration. In fact, it was the language that helped to bind together diverse peoples under Roman rule. As the empire expanded, so too did the influence of Latin. The language underwent transformations, absorbing words and phrases from the myriad cultures that fell under Roman control. This created a rich tapestry of language that reflected the diversity of the empire itself. And the legacy of Latin lives on today. It's the root of the Romance languages like Spanish, French, Italian, Portuguese, and Romanian. Even English, though not a Romance language, has been greatly influenced by Latin, with about 1/3 of its words having Latin roots. Now let's turn to religion. The Romans were polytheistic, worshipping a pantheon of gods and goddesses, each governing different aspects of life in the natural world. Deities like Jupiter, the king of the gods, Mars, the god of war, and Venus, the goddess of love, were central to Roman religious practices. But religion in the Roman Empire was not static. As the empire grew, so too did its religious practices. The Romans were known for adopting the gods of the people they conquered, adding them to their ever-expanding pantheon. And then in the 1st century AD, a new religion emerged within the empire: Christianity. Initially a small sect, it grew steadily, and by the 4th century AD, it had become the dominant religion, forever altering the religious landscape of the empire. In the Roman Empire, language and religion were more than just means of communication and worship. They were unifying forces. Now let's unearth some fascinating facts about the Roman Empire. Did you know that the Romans were incredible engineers and architects? They built roads and walls, things we now take for granted. The first ever shopping mall was built in Rome between 100 and 110 AD by Emperor Trajan. This mall had multiple levels and more than 150 outlets that sold everything from food and spices to clothes. And speaking of food, contrary to popular belief, the staple food of the Roman diet was not meat but grains. They consumed a lot of barley, wheat, and oats. Meat was a luxury and not a regular part of their meals. The Romans were also known for their bathhouses, which were like today's community centers. They didn't just bathe there, they socialized, conducted business, and even exercised. These bathhouses were open to everyone, regardless of their social status. The Romans had a unique way of telling time. They divided the day into 24 hours, but the length of each hour wasn't fixed. It changed with the seasons. So in the summer the hours were longer, and in the winter they were shorter. And let's not forget the famous figures who hailed from the Roman Empire. Julius Caesar, a military general who played a crucial role in the rise of the Roman Empire, is a name that echoes through history. His life and death have been the subject of countless books, plays, and films. Then there's Augustus, the first emperor of Rome, whose reign ushered in a period of relative peace known as the Pax Romana, or Roman peace. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Roman Empire is its fall. It wasn't a sudden collapse but a slow decline over hundreds of years, marking the transition from the classical world to the medieval. These intriguing facts only scratch the surface of the rich and complex history of the Roman Empire. So there you have it, history divers, a brief dive into the expansive ocean that is the history of the Roman Empire. We kicked off our journey with the dawn of this mighty civilization. The city of Rome, founded, as legend has it, by Romulus and Remus, twin brothers raised by a she-wolf. We saw the city grow from a small settlement on the banks of the Tiber River to the heart of a vast empire that encompassed much of the known world. We then delved into the intricate political system that governed this sprawling empire. The Republic, an era of representative government where the Senate held sway and consuls were elected. This was followed by the Empire, a time of absolute rule by emperors, some benevolent, others tyrannical, but each leaving an indelible mark on history. Our exploration then took us into the economic engine that powered this colossal empire. The vast trade networks that spanned continents, the innovative use of coinage, and the grandeur of Roman architecture and infrastructure, all a testament to their economic might and ingenuity. We also cast a spotlight on the role of women in Roman society. Despite living in a male-dominated world, Roman women wielded significant influence, both within the family and in the public sphere. Their role evolved over time, mirroring the broader societal changes within the empire. Our journey wouldn't have been complete without delving into the rich tapestry of language and religion that characterized the Roman Empire. Latin, the language of the Romans, not only served as the lingua franca of the empire but also left a lasting legacy on many modern languages. The pantheon of Roman gods and the later adoption of Christianity shaped the spiritual life of the empire and beyond. And who could forget the interesting facts we unearthed along the way? From the Romans' love for public baths and their unique numeral system to their penchant for gladiatorial games and exotic delicacies, the Roman Empire was indeed a fascinating world. But as with any dive, we've only just skimmed the surface. The Roman Empire, with its millennia of history, is an ocean of knowledge waiting to be explored. And that's the beauty of diving into history. There's always more to discover, more to learn, and more to marvel at. So, as we surface from this dive, let's remember the Roman Empire for what it was: a testament to human ambition, ingenuity, and resilience. An empire that rose, flourished, and eventually fell, but not before leaving an indelible mark on the annals of human history. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating dives into history. Until next time, keep diving.